Oh, yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Oh, yeah. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. Today, we're going to be hanging out with
Georgie Johns.
Oh, yeah. What do you say, hippie? Let's kick it off with a track that Georgie sung on with Pete Johns. This track is called Spy from a Distance.
It's getting much harder answering the call. A new kind of normal is affecting us all. We are in absolute lockdown. Can't even go to the store to buy some cyanide capsules or even knock on their door. And I must work from home. Spy from a distance, observing social distancing rules, relying on remote access software to make the world safe. You spy from a distance, staying home to help others live, wanting my enemies' plans while I flatten the curve. I will spy from a distance. How can I bring justice? Don't think I can last. Hard to recognize villains when they're wearing a mask. Getting low on essentials, toilet papers in drought. Hard to talk to a bad guy when your Zoom crashes out. Stay at home all alone and spy from a distance, observing social distancing rules, ordering my gadgets on eBay and Amazon Prime. I will spy from a distance, panic buying cleaning supplies, teaching my kids their times tables while saving the world. I will spy from a distance.
Oh, yeah, man. What an awesome song that is, Spy from a Distance from 2020. A very different time, wasn't it? Hello.
This morning, I think.
Yeah. Hello. Hey, what's going on? I've got a video autoplay, YouTube autoplay. How are you all? Welcome to the show. My name's Jade. This is How to App on iOS. And yeah, 2020 was a very different time, wasn't it? Hey, we had the crazy virus taking over, all of us locked down, people punching each other in the streets for toilet paper. It was absolute mayhem. And you know what? Nothing's changed. Nobody's learned anything. We're all getting stupider day by day. But thankfully, we have music and things to keep us excited. So yeah, that was Spy from a Distance, written by Pete Johns with Georgie Johns on vocals. And I'm really excited about today because we have said featured artist on that song joining us today. Hey, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe, hit the like, do all that kind of stuff. And that would be most appreciated. What do we do on this show? Every day we take a look at app stuff and things, mental health and well-being, interviews with amazing people, and on the weekend, a live stream just to entertain you all. Thank you all for joining us. Those in the chat, will say hello to you after a little bit of time on the show. But without further ado, let me introduce the woman of the moment, somebody who I have got to break bread with personally and got to know over the past few years since getting to know Pete Johns. She is incredibly vivacious, beautiful, talented, and intelligent, and above all, funny as. So, the swear jar is active today. So, if you would like to send a super chat or a super sticker to stop us from being demonetized, that's up to you. Never expected. So, without further ado, I would like to bring onto the show for the very first time with an unmute button now. Hello, Georgie Johns.
Hello.
How you going?
What an introduction. My goodness.
I'm so glad you joined me today. Thank you for taking the time to join me. I know you were maybe a bit hesitant, were you, to come on the show?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what I've got to contribute to your audience, but I'll give it a go. And it's ridiculously early here in Australia, so that was fun getting up at 5:45 a.m.
Welcome.
5:45.
Whoops, I'm trying to get used to all my buttons.
Welcome to my world.
There you go.
It's an amazing world of getting up so early each day, but you know the things you do for love, I guess. But no, you have plenty to contribute. This is the thing, like being a moderator over on Pete Johns' chat for a long time. When you come on, everyone seems to get excited, and there's people who seem to have millions of questions to.
That's because they're mostly men and I have boobs.
Ain't that the truth? Can I get a hallelujah? I got some horns. That's all I've got. Horns today.
I mean, that'll do.
Yeah. Horns for boobs. There we go.
For boobs. You can put that on a t-shirt, horns for boobs.
We should do. Don't tempt Pete. He'll do it.
You probably would.
Karen's for Sharon's, horns for boobs. It'll be Pete's next thing. So I'm going to hit you with the first few questions that I bombard everybody with.
All right.
Georgie, what does music mean to you?
Such a loaded question, isn't it? Because it means different things at different times of the day, at different times of the week, at different times of your life. It's always been a huge part of my life. You know, from growing up, my mum was very musical. Her mum was very musical. Whenever we'd go around to the grandparents' house, we'd always put on music and dance around. My mum would put on, she actually would buy vinyl records specifically for us. With, you know, in Australia we had this show called Play School, which is a very famous kids show with all the music from that. She would buy personalized records with our names on them.
Nice.
So we'd have songs that were talking about, happy birthday Georgina, which is my full name, and yeah, it's always been a huge part of our world. So it I guess it means a lot.
Yeah, I always think we got screwed up as a race, and it was meant to be our language, and somewhere along the line, some idiot decided to take the tune out of the words, and
that's interesting. I like that.
And they were all just stuck throwing stones and sticks at each other and buying toilet paper and punching each other in the head.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
It doesn't. I have this image of UFOs, aliens if they exist, getting all these repeat messages sent from our satellites. And they're all sitting around just watching going, look at these fuckheads with toilet paper. What the hell is going on? For real? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Georgie, do you recall the music that was played in your household when you were growing up? And give us some of those artists, and have they influenced you in your life?
When I was growing up, and every Saturday night we'd sit down to have family dinner, and my mum would put on a radio station that played 6 o'clock rock on Saturday nights.
Nice.
And that was all the 50s and 60s music. So I grew up listening to, obviously, the Beatles and all these. Honestly, I don't even know most of the artists, but I could sing the entire song for you, which was very interesting when I had to take a long car ride with my father-in-law, Pete's dad. And he would put on radio. It didn't matter what radio station it was. He'd put on a song and I'd sing along, and he was quite amazed by my ability to know these songs, because I can't remember what I had for breakfast. And it was 20 minutes ago, but I can still recite the words to, for example, Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
Can't we all?
Yeah, well, of course. But I know, Rocking Robin from, the 50s and all this sort of stuff.
Tweet, tweet, tweetly, tweetly,
Yes,
tweet.
exactly. Tweedly tweet. So yeah, that was a huge part of my sort of growing up. And then of course when I became, a sullen teenager, then it started getting into the more grungy, obviously in Nirvana. The first CD I ever bought, I know we're jumping forward, but the first CD I ever bought was Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
Of course it was. Why am I not
Because,
surprised?
I was angsty. I was an angsty teenager. So, but it was just, then it started getting into all the, the grunge and the alternative. When you'd walk into the record store, as we called it, you'd go straight for the alternative section. That was my bag back then.
I went straight for the death metal section. I was.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Because everything's a shock with me. It always is.
Yes.
So, continue. Was there anything else you wanted to add there? I cut you off.
No, that's about it.
That's about it. All right. Well, your first album. So you purchased that. What was the first album that was given to you?
Well, I mean, it was probably, like I said, a Play School album or a Sesame Street album or a real little kiddie album. My mum gave me the Beach Boys Christmas album one year for Christmas, which I loved. I loved that.
Was that Pet Sounds?
I don't. No, it was.
Pet Sounds is very, very extreme.
Okay, see, I don't really know heavy death metal.
No,
actually, my sister.
No,
my
it's
sister
the
went
Beach
through a
Boys.
thing.
It's the Beach
Oh,
Boys.
it's the Beach Boys.
It's where they started to go like a bit, loony. And
where they did all sort of not alternative, but like that. Yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
missed that. Yeah. I think I jumped straight from wouldn't it be nice to Kokomo? So
all right, you skipped the whole loony bit in the middle. Where,
yes, I think I did.
Yeah.
But my sister actually went through a bit of a heavy metal phase and would do the whole dress in all black and listen to Pantera and Sepultura for a while there. So I do even know a few of those songs as well.
Oh my god!
I know that's not as heavy as what you'd probably.
No,
like.
of course that is.
They're good.
Sepultura is
Okay,
awesome.
awesome,
Yeah, Mate, we need to do a duet of a Sepultura cover.
Sure.
Remains.
Yeah, no, I like my voice. I'd like to keep it. Thanks.
I like my voice too. There's an art to death metal. A lot of people think it's just screaming, but you would know, as somebody who's sung for a long time, everything is control and training, and you learn how to not. I say not
ruin your voice. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you've got to treat it like you've got to treat yourself. You are the instrument.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's a very interesting thing. We'll talk a little bit more about that because coming on. So I've added a new question to the show.
Ooh.
Your first live band that you went and saw, and how old were you?
I was actually quite old. I think it was actually Alanis Morissette because my parents
Wow.
didn't actually. They were very into music, but not so much the live music. So we'd listen to lots of records and cassettes and CDs, but we never really went to go and see shows. So it wasn't until I could actually afford to go and buy my own tickets. In fact, I think it was even a present from my sister to go and see Alanis Morissette live. But since then, I mean, you can't stop me going to see live performances and live theatre and that sort of thing. But I think it was actually Alanis Morissette at the Entertainment Centre in Adelaide.
Wow, I've been there. That's is
Yeah.
it? No, it's awesome.
Yeah,
me. I love Radelaide so much.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of people who hang shit on Radelaide, and it's ridiculous because I don't know what it is in Australia. I think probably this tall poppy syndrome.
Maybe.
People from bigger places like Sydney look down on small places like, oh, but it's not as good as here. Where I like the quaintness of leaving a big city and going to a small place. Because why would you want to wrap yourself around with assholes in Sydney and go on holiday there? Like,
Look, I love Sydney and Melbourne. I actually
they're
love
great.
most, all the places that I've been to in Australia. If you can't find something good in a place that you're going to, you're not trying hard enough. Because, Sydney has the beautiful harbour and it has, the culture, and Melbourne has the laneways and the coffee and everything. But, Adelaide, but Adelaide has, a lot of things as well. We've got, the wine regions and I'm not going to, start speaking for Adelaide, but it's also got more of a community vibe, I think. Like I've, met so many amazing people here in Adelaide and they've become my my village, for want of a better word. So yeah, I think wherever you live, if you can just find those people, it doesn't really matter as long as you've got those people around you. So
Absolutely. I mean, for myself, playing in bands for many, many years, when we were on
yeah.
a leg of a tour and we were doing like Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne, always when we got to Adelaide, there was the highlight. Why? Because it is what it is. The best looking women are in Adelaide. It just is. It is what it is. I'll always say it till the day I die. We used to when I was like 20 and we'd go on tour to Adelaide, we used to call
Mm.
Adelaide Fist Bite Mania. That was our name for it because we'd get there and be so many beautiful girls who would just be biting your fist constantly.
Oh
How,
dear.
how misogynistic is that? I'm glad I grew out of that stuff.
Yes.
So,
Oh dear.
so tell us, at school, were you a big person into music? Did you, let's see, did you learn the recorder?
I actually almost brought the recorder onto the show
Oh
to
no!
play you either Hot Cross Buns or The Rose by Bette Midler. So
What?
yes, I do. I can play The Rose by Bette Midler on recorder, and I'm not going to do it now because I don't have the recorder with me.
Pete,
But
can
when
you go grab the recorder, Pete? Do it, Pete. Or I'm not modding your channel ever again. That's it.
But when our youngest came home and said, "Oh, I need to, to have a recorder to take to school to learn," I pulled out. Actually, I think I went down to Kmart and bought her one. But I started playing it, and they're like, "You can play the recorder?" I'm like, "Yes, I can." But other than that, no other instruments, because every time I started, I wasn't instantly amazing at them. So I'm like, "Oh, this is too hard," so I stopped.
And
That's an insight into my personality.
vocals was the thing, yeah?
Well, vocals was the thing. I was always, auditioning for the school musicals and that sort of thing. The first one we did in high school was Peter Pan. I don't know how you turn that into a musical. Oh no, that's a
Yeah,
musical.
that's a
maybe.
musical.
Yeah. And I played the little brother Michael, so Wendy's little brother, and I got to fly around and follow her along on her adventure. And then the second one we did was Oliver, which is obviously a
Oh,
musical as
wow.
well. And I played one of the little orphans and also the Mr. Brownlow at the end. He like saves the day. So apparently,
A double role. Wow.
yes, I was that good.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of pressure to put on a child.
Yes, exactly. So no, I was always getting into the musical side of. I did drama as one of my year 12 or like whatever Americans call it, senior year.
Senior.
Like that one drama was one of my subjects. So instead of doing math and science, I was doing drama and professional typing, which worked out so well.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting. Well, I did the same thing in year 12. They offered an amazing course here in Victoria. VCE had just come in Victoria in year 11. And then they moved everything to, in year 12, they offered us all this course where it was like, hey, are you a musician? Would you like to study theatre? If you
Yeah.
pay $500 for the year, we let you join a band for the year.
And that was your subject.
And well, we had science, maths, English, and Australian studies,
Yeah.
but that only took up 25%, if that, of the of the whole year, and the rest they separated us all in this course into 3 separate cover bands. We all each band had to learn 100 covers, and then
100.
in about 4 months, and then after that we were playing every Friday in front of the school doing all these covers, and then for the third part of the year we were off playing at other high schools, and then at the end of the year we went on tour with 1927, Midnight Oil,
No.
in Colac, playing on the back of a truck, sleeping in caravan parks. That was my year 12. It was
That's amazing.
it was the balls. It was so good. It was so amazing. And then, you come out of it and go into playing real gigs and you're like,
Yeah.
this sucks, man.
Yeah.
I want to go back to school. I think they never did it as good as that. It was just the trial year. And so everyone else who did it
so you were lucky to get that first year.
absolutely, yeah. We had some of the
Yeah.
best teachers. We had like all these professional singers come and teach us and do talks on how to be a rock star. It was so amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I love
bet
that.
they don't do that anymore. Um,
No, probably not.
so in school, you're doing theatre. Out of school, did you continue on with theatre? Did you get into a theatre club or anything like that?
I did. I did. My sister and I both joined a club called the Harlequin Youth Theatre Company,
Hmm.
and they had a guy that would write original pieces, and so one was called Good Vibes, and it was about this bunch of hippies that were trying to save something I can't remember. And another one was called Freddie Do You, which was about this group of misfits trying to do something else as well. I can't remember. I told you my memory's shot. Um, but yeah, they were outside of school, and in when I went into year 12 or my senior year, I think I had to stop then because I wasn't doing very well at school, and my parents said, "No, you really need to focus on school and not all this, silly drama stuff." So I stopped in year 12 and then never really picked it up again. I would always enjoy doing the dramatic stuff and the singing, and met Pete shortly after. And one of the reasons one of the reasons I liked him was because he was the lead singer and guitarist of a band, and I was like, oh, that's a bit swoony, isn't it?
Ooh la la.
Yeah, exactly. So we met through his music, because he actually gave me, before we started dating, he gave me a CD of his band, and I would listen to it in the car, and then I went to go and
Oh
listen to him and his
gosh.
band rehearse. And so yeah, music's always been it's been basically like a little vein running through our lives. And it's the reason that Pete and I are together. So there you go.
What a smooth operator. I didn't know that story. So he slipped you the
Yeah.
CD, did the rock and roll
Yeah,
star thing.
yeah.
Wow. I would never expect that because he's such a humble dude.
He is. But one day we used to work together in like a call center. And one day I'd been listening to his CD in the car, and I came in and I was singing one of the songs, and he was like, Are you singing sober? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh my God. So he knew then that I liked his music. I mean, at the time we were friends, but we weren't dating or anything, and kind of went from there.
Nice. Well, I'm going to play a song that you have been. Oops, get my camera right. I've gone the wrong camera. Play a song that you have performed on. Now you're in there somewhere, and I'm going to.
Which one is it?
I've got two that you sung on. So
Okay.
on his debut album, you sung on a couple of songs. I know that.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna find out where you sung on it.
Okay.
All right. So how about we play? Let me just make sure I've got all my this new setup. I'm still getting used to everything here. Let's mute that for now, and let's see. I can play Your Opinion because I know you're on that, aren't you?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Very, very backing vocals
At
on
the
that
end,
one.
I think you're
Yes.
on there. So,
Yeah.
so folks, chill out, relax. We'll come back in a moment. I'm going to play Your Opinion. You probably know this song if you've been on Pete's channel or even mine, because I've sung this, I think, live. And we'll be back in a moment, and we'll say hello to you all here and greet you all, and then we'll be back in a tick. This is Your Opinion by Pete Johns featuring Georgie on backup vocals. Boom.
Everybody talks too much. They like to hear the sound of their own voice echoing across the room, and it don't mean much when it's nothing more than your opinion. Everybody shouts out loud when there's emotion, but it doesn't mean a lot to anybody listening, getting up on your high horse, making sure we all know your opinion. You have the right to say whatever you want. You have the freedom to express, but there are consequences to everything, so don't look so shocked when I call you on your should it be something that I need to say. Let me explain it to you in one more way. opposite reaction. And that's some physics for your friend. You have the right to think whatever you feel. You have the freedom to be a tool. But when I call you out on your BS, don't be surprised. Now it's time to quiet down. We're sick of listening to the same old clowns, repeating what they said the last time round. I think we're done with your opinion. You already told us your opinion. There's consequences to your opinion. It might be wrong, but it's your opinion. Your opinion. Your opinion. Your opinion. Your opinion.
Your Opinion by Pete Johns and Georgie Johns there. And what we're going to do now is I'll bring Georgie back into the chat. Thank you very much also, Pete, for the kind super chat. That's very nice of you. Welcome back, Georgie.
Thanks. See, if you wanted to hear me sing, the bit that I sang on that, I could just go,
I've got better.
Obviously not
I've got better
early.
than that. Trust me, I'm prepared and all this stuff. Let's go to this screen here. There we go. So now I have the GarageBand project.
Wow. Okay.
Because I've sung a lot of Pete's songs on my opening hour. Pete just sent me all these projects because Pete's like that. He just gives it all away for free, just
Such a
throws it all
sharing
out
and
there. I
caring
know
person.
he is. Sharing is Karen and something.
Yes.
I don't know how it
Sharing is caring and Sharon is Karen.
goes. Do you spend
I
a
think
lot
that's
of
a t-shirt.
Do you spend a lot of your time rolling your eyes?
A little bit. Not just at Pete though, just generally.
Yeah, I do too. Generally at the world.
Yes.
So I have the project here, and this is the end of the track. And you know what? I love doing this because
Go on.
every singer hates having their vocals singled out. Let's
Own voice
here we go.
echoing across the
We've got
room,
Pete
and
singing
it
here.
don't mean much.
Where's his vocal? There it is.
When it's nothing more than your opinion.
So it's towards the end I want to go. Here we
Yep.
go. You're at the end here. I think you've got like 4 tracks, maybe 5. No,
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, I think you've got 6 actually. So there's Pete.
But when I call you out on your BS, don't be surprised.
I know that's Pete.
Yeah.
Now it's time to
Oh, this is the best bit.
quiet down. We're sick of listening to the same old clowns, repeating what they said the last time round. I think we're done with your opinion. You already
yeah.
told us your opinion.
Here we are.
Just going,
There we go. I've got you now.
harmony.
Beautiful stuff.
Oh, that was very flat.
You know what they say though, in the mix, you can't hear those little things. Like,
That is true.
and we're the worst judges ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that last one. was
Beautiful
nice.
stuff. So now you know, guys, that Georgie is in that song. Let me close that project and come back.
You
here.
can't really hear it in the actual song, but I am there.
But that's the beauty of it. That's the subtlety that makes music really good. You don't need to make everything out there and big. It's
That's true.
subtlety that is important that a lot of people miss because they try and overload things. They think more is better, and it's not. Less is more. Cornflakes should be your guide. The simple things in
Cornflakes.
life are often the best.
Often the best. Yeah.
I live by that rule.
Sure.
Let's say hello to folks who are here in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. And you know what? It is that time. Put your comment in the chat right now so I can say hello to you. And where are we? I'm just getting my shit together here with this new. Let's do this. Put your comments in the chat now. Cy-Effin is here. Hello to you. I have an idea. Doug Kidder, Mark Bro, iOS Music Man. Who else is here? Pete Johns is here. Hello, Pete Johns. Thomas Christ, Christopher Rossi, Tremor Bear, SM Borthwick. Who else? The Lily Pillies is here. Anyone else who's here? Joe and Barry Glenn, Kim Harden Hudson. Hello to you. Hello, Patrick Chandler, Janet
These
Burke.
are some familiar names, Jade.
I know. I might have seen them before. Maybe I pre-prepared them earlier. Tom Carrera, Papa Tom is here as well. Sith Vasquez, avocados to you, my love. Who else is here? If you want your name read out now, now's your time. Now is your moment. It's your moment to shine. That rhymed, and I didn't even know it. I've got no other names coming here, so that will be the end of the. Now I don't know how to stop all this. There we go.
That's fine. Just leave it.
I'm still learning my new desk. Hello, Doug Kidder, Auntie G, Thomas Gillane. Good to see you. Thomas Gillane has a new track coming out too, which is very exciting. All right. So you met Pete, yes?
Yes,
So
I did meet Pete.
You've met Pete, and you've had some children with him. At least,
Yes, we have.
at least that's what we think.
Yes.
What am I talking about? So, what was the first gig you went and saw Pete play? Do you remember that?
I think it was a battle of the bands because he was only 18. He was only 18.
Oh, nice.
And I was 19, so I was the older lady. He
Ooh.
was playing with his band. I think it was a battle of the bands at like a swimming pool center, like an outdoor swimming center.
Yep.
And with my sister, because my sister was friends with him as well. And yeah, I saw him play live and I was like, oh yeah. And then I think he did a few more battle of the bands after that and then started getting a few live gigs. In fact, I think the first paid live gig he ever played, they forgot to pay the band. And so I was like chasing them up on the phone and going to the venue and like demanding payment. And I think they ended up getting paid $75 for all three of them.
That's pretty good, actually.
And so I gave 25 to Pete and 25 to the drummer, and the bass player was pissing me off, so I only gave him 20 and kept 5 for myself.
Wow, already a shrewd manager.
Yep, exactly.
So was Pete the kind of guy who would smash his guitar on stage?
So no. He was very not gentle, but he's never been the sort of guy. Plus, smashing a guitar is silly. He likes his instruments. He uses his guitars. So no, he's never been the smashing a guitar on stage kind of guy. The bass player, who is a good friend of ours, he used to bounce on the stage, which was about as raucous as it got, basically.
He was the bouncer of the band.
He was the bouncer, yes. Bounce.
So you get together and in Adelaide. So
Yes.
I'm interested to know, when you got married and stuff, was it a low key thing? Was it a rock and roll thing? Because I don't know. I don't know why. I just sensed that there'd be some kind of music involved in it or something like that.
It wasn't. It wasn't a tiny wedding, but it wasn't massive either. I think we maybe had 90 people, and we could not decide on a song that I would walk down the aisle to.
Uh-oh.
So I think I went with, just the standard one. But then when we signed the paperwork while people were mingling around, we played, I think it's called Mr. E's Beautiful Blues.
Okay.
By the Eels, which is the one that goes, goddamn right, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And then we did our first dance to Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips.
Oh wow.
And
So alternative.
yeah,
I love
wow.
it. What a shock.
and we had to very carefully curate the playlist, for dancing in the evening, because there was kids and old people there, so we didn't want anything with terrible swear words in it.
Yeah.
So we had to be very careful about the music that we played, but we also didn't want it to be and plus, because there was old people and because we like older music, we had a bit of a mix of, the old and the new. So I think everybody had a good time, but yeah, music was definitely part of it.
uh, Pete says in the chat we were blaspheming within a minute of being married.
Maybe we were, yes. God damn right. It's a beautiful day.
It's it's funny, you know. I have this little wave on here which I play of Pete, which I know he hates, but
Go on.
I think we can play it today. I think we'll be all right. Let me give it some volume.
It's full of fucking swearing.
I love playing it because Pete is such a really nice guy, and you know, hey, you make a choice here with swearing and stuff like that when you on YouTube and stuff. I make a choice to swear a lot, and it's not really a choice; it's how I am, you know. And you know, I don't want to censor myself. Sometimes I do, of course, when there's a sponsor or anything like that. I try to. But even with writing music and stuff like that, what do you think about censorship and the way music is heading us? Because we're living in a world where cancel culture seems to be everywhere you turn, and I agree with it to a degree.
Yes.
But when it's out of control, you know, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's such a hard one, isn't it? Because, like you, I agree with it to a certain degree because you can't just go around offending people willy nilly just to be, just to shit stir, basically.
Yep.
But there has to be some level of ability to say what you think without. I mean, the people use the term free speech. They use it completely incorrectly because free speech basically means freedom of persecution by the government.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean freedom from consequence.
Yes.
So if you say something completely, inappropriate and horrible and whatever, and you lose your job because of that, that's perfectly acceptable. If your organization decides that they don't want anybody who says these things in their organization, you lose your job, fine. In terms of music, I know that I don't necessarily. I mean, there are genres of music that are not my bag, so I choose not to listen to them. And one of them is I used to really like rap music, and I would listen to like Ice-T, and like I would be, a 12, 13-year-old girl singing along to, a song called LGB. Oh, I can't remember the acronym, but it was Girls Let's Get Butt Naked. And as a like 12, 13-year-old, me and my sister would be singing along to this song. And we were so innocent. And now I think back to it and go, whoa, that was a misogynistic piece of crap. So yeah, I don't want to say, oh, the times have changed, because yes, of course they have. But I think there's a way to express yourself without offending people. And yeah, I think if you can, maybe you should. If you want to be offensive, you just have to accept that it's going to offend people, and there may be some backlash. That's all.
I think art in general, movies, music, video games, all this has a pass, because I think people look at music and video game culture, all this kind of stuff now, and go, oh, it's too much, it's too violent, it's too this, but it's a form of entertainment. And in my opinion, we've been looking at violence and stuff throughout history, throughout art. The Black Plague created some of the most beautiful art ever created through despair and misery. I think, but unfortunately, we're in a phase at the moment where we have a select group of loud people who think that shock value is just offending people. And you can offend people. There's been metal bands writing songs like "Fucked with a Knife" since I was a kid, Yeah. But that's art. That's it's not meant to be taken serious. It's a form of entertainment.
Yeah.
But we're moving into speaking of, like when I was working, you mentioned about people getting cancelled from their jobs.
Yeah.
When I was working at American Express, they had a very corporate culture of the blue box values, and every day you walked in and there was these values, and they even had a song about the blue box values. And when I worked there,
everything.
they made me, I'm not going to play my version of it, but they asked me if I would do a remake of the song.
Really?
And I did, and they played it in front of the CEO, Ken Chenault from You know what?
That's amazing. Was it a metal version? Can you play it, please?
No, I don't know where it is. It's
Oh.
somewhere on my computer. But what I have found is the actual original version from American Express, which I had to learn. Listen how cheese this is. This is corporate American Express. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm playing this.
Clients and community come first. Every day
So
I look for
cringe.
ways to better live and work. I show respect
Respect,
and dignity.
dignity.
Maintain my integrity. It's quality in which I'm well versed.
The blue box values.
They bring success. The blue box values brings out
Oh
your
my
best.
Lord.
The blue
I
box
never want this to end.
don't settle for
You know what?
less.
It doesn't. It goes for
I
like
work for
3
American
minutes.
Express.
I work.
That's amazing.
I work for American Express. Teamwork.
I can stop that now.
That is so good.
It's so shit. It's so wrong.
I love it.
Side
I
points.
love
I
it.
hope you don't get a content ID from American Express. Trust me, I won't. I won't.
We work for American
Oh,
Express.
hang on.
That's amazing.
Hang on. I've got to do it. Where's the middle bit? Hang on. The breakdown.
Work for American. Travel alone.
Here we go. The breakdown.
Credit cards and charge cards. Travel alone. One of 30 companies on the Dow Jones.
Dow Jones. They even
On the
mentioned
Dow Jones.
Country worldwide. We've always got the blue box by our side.
Good Lord. They mentioned the Dow Jones. What an incredibly daggy shit song.
and, and that was meant to boost morale? Is that
Somewhat.
interesting?
I
So
think-
your version was,
It was pretty much the
More-
same. It was just
Oh.
acoustic, and I had some.
it wasn't a death metal version.
No, I couldn't do that. I liked my high-paying job way too much
Fair enough.
to
Fair
screw them over. But they got me to actually sing it and play guitar, and
That's amazing.
oh, it was so embarrassing.
You've lived a life, haven't you,
Oh
Jade?
yeah, sure have. So talking about work and life and balance and family, how do you do it? You've got 3 children in your life.
Two.
I was including
if you
Pete.
count-
I was
If you
including
count Pete,
I was
or if you count, yeah, or if you count the dog.
see now it's 4. There you go. No, in jest, no. But you know, you have outside work and you have a thing going on, you know, and you've got children and you've got Pete. How do you manage all this stuff? What's a day in the life of Georgie Johns?
I am actually really fortunate in that I'm what they call a knowledge worker. So when we went, obviously we went into lockdown and we had to all work from home. I was one of those people that could just go, all right, I work from home now because my job is content online. So I can jump onto the internet and do it. So I'm also very fortunate in that I work part-time. So I only do 3 days a week. So the other 2 days I can, spend the time cleaning the house if I need to. I pick the children up from school. I can have coffee with friends. I can go and visit family members. So I honestly don't know how full-time single parents do it. It just would not be possible. You would have to pay people to A, clean your house, and B, look after your children, because the whole women can have it all thing is absolute bullshit, because there's not enough hours in the day. My friend of mine is a single full-time working mother, and she was talking to a colleague of hers who said that she needed a wife, basically, because these full-time working dads, and this is maybe going a bit too stereotypical, but full-time working dads have a wife/mother to handle all the things like kids' birthday parties and the excursions for schools and that sort of thing, whereas the full-time single working mothers are doing their job plus all the other stuff. So I'm very, very fortunate that I don't have to do that. And I'm also very fortunate, hi Pete, that Pete is very very hands-on with the kids. very hands-on with the housework, and he works from home as well. So if I went into the office yesterday and he was home, so the kids, when they got home from school, he could give them dinner and hang out with them. So there's no secret. It's just that I got very lucky in that, I met somebody who was willing to do that work with me, and we make a good team.
I believe in luck in poker, but not in life. I think you make your own luck. You generate your own luck.
If you believe in luck in poker, you're not playing it right.
Yeah, well, there's some people who actually think there's an actual system to it. Good luck with that. I don't know what to tell you. You're a dickhead. It is what it is. So Pete was working when I met him, so he had a corporate job. And I remember the first time I met Pete here in Melbourne, it was all secretive. We did it on the lowdown. It was like a spy from a distance. And when we
because he was traveling for work.
Yeah. And we met early in the morning, much around this kind of time, and we had a coffee around where he was working. And he was jet setting around and doing the work thing and doing all this at the same time. When the opportunity came up for Pete to go full time and take this whole YouTube thing seriously, what were your feelings? Were you scared about this? Has it been what's been your experience with moving with it? I mean, because it's scary, YouTube. It's you never know when it's going to burst.
Well, he'd been really unhappy in his job for a while, which is why he started doing the YouTube thing, because he needed that creative outlet. So when the opportunity came for him to leave, it was also, again, quite fortunate that they would pay him to leave, as in he was made redundant and he got a payout. And because he'd been working in the company for 18 years, it was a substantial payout. So I wasn't necessarily terribly concerned about, paying the mortgage, because his payout paid off the house. So
that's good.
I knew that, it was amazing.
Take a lot of relief. Yeah.
Yeah. So that has taken away that financial strain. And also, I've said this to Pete, I've said this to other people. He is a hustler. If he's not performing well in one area, he'll pivot and he'll try something else. Or if that's not working, he'll try something else. He'll reach out to people. He'll try something new. So if it got to the point where he wasn't, financially successful doing this, he would give it his absolute best. And then if it still didn't work, he would do something else. He has said if he has to go back to a corporate job, for our financial security, he will. But I'm going to do everything I can in my power to not let that happen, because my job is part-time and it's not that high paying, but it pays, some of the bills, and his YouTube pays the other half. So I think for the moment, and if the last couple of years has taught us anything, is that the status quo does not exist. You can't say, well, this is my life for the rest of my life. It's just not the case. So we just have to be prepared. And I don't want to use the word luck again, but we are lucky in that we have the ability to pivot if we need to. Like if I lost my job, I could get a different one, because the industry that I'm in at the moment, there's actually a skills shortage. So I don't know that I'd have too much trouble finding a new role. And with Pete, if he wanted to go back into, corporate, he has all the skills and experience. So we'd be okay. We're just very lucky that we can do what we enjoy now, and we're not taking that for granted.
Yeah, because during the pandemic, a lot of people got dumber. So there is a skills shortage. Because somehow we devolved during the pandemic. Who knew? Hey, if there were jobs going for people punching each other over toilet paper, I'm sure that job would be filled very easily. Now, you live in a situation very similar to me, because, I've been to your house. And, I don't have a lot of room in my house. So even though I live in like my apartment is like a 3-story apartment.
Yeah.
This studio is in my bedroom.
Yes.
And behind this green screen is a single bed. That's how sad my life is. I can't even fit a double bed in here.
Oh.
So there goes relationships out the window. And it's because of YouTube. It's to do this. It's a sacrifice I've had to make. How hard is that? Did you envision as a teenager that your business would be sharing in your bedroom each day?
For a while there, this room, which is our bedroom as well, the
Yep.
bed is behind me. For a while there, this was Pete's office. We called it the front room, and people who watched his channel before would remember there was a treadmill and a
Yes.
couch, and it was basically his. Oh, you've been on the treadmill.
I've
I
been on the
remember.
treadmill.
But that was when our children were sharing a bedroom, and we had the other bedroom upstairs, and then this was the office. But as they got older, the children, they wanted, separate space, which is understandable. So we gave them a bedroom each upstairs, and we moved down here. And it was, literally tape measure. Can I fit my desk here? Can we fit this? I was going to stick Pete in the walk-in closet, but then we realized there's no ventilation in there, so he probably would suffocate.
Oh, God.
Which
Poor
I'd,
Pete.
rather not. Yeah, I'd rather
Yeah,
not have
keep him
happen.
alive. Keep him alive.
Yeah. So we've managed to make it work. If he has a show and I have to work, I just take my laptop out into the lounge room and do my work in there. If I have a meeting and he's got admin to do, he'll do it on his phone or his iPad. That's a good thing about as you know, Jade, the mobile content creation.
Yep.
You don't have to be sitting in a specific spot. Pete will take his laptop to sports events. He'll go to the cricket in summer and sit there and do his work at the cricket, or he'll go to the casino or a sports bar to watch. At the moment in America, there's the NHL Stanley Cup finals. So he'll bugger off and go to the sports bar and do his work while he's watching the NHL hockey. It's such a lifestyle for him. He loves it. And I like that he gets to do that.
Yeah. And speaking of children, even though I wasn't, I'm going to play a song and then we'll come back because
Okay.
I want to. This has something to do with children, and I'm sure you know where I'm heading here, or maybe you don't. So, folks, grab a drink, chill, relax. This is, and I'm sure I'm going to get a claim for it, but it's okay. It'll be a cover claim, and I like those. This is a track by you and Pete that was, I'm not sure if it was done live. I think it was by the Wiggles.
Oh, the Wiggles,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's play this, and then we'll be back very shortly, guys. As Hippie would say,
Stunning, stunning, stunning.
that's not Hippie. It's that one. Boom. All right. Get it together, Jade. It's too early. All right. This is Social Distancing acoustic cover by Pete and Georgie, covered by the Wiggles. Oh, yeah.
A tune, a Wiggles tune. Probably the first and last time the Wiggles will be covered on Studio Live today. This is Social Distancing. Why can't I go to Nana's place?
We're staying at home to keep Nana safe.
What can we do to make her feel better?
Let's video call or write a letter.
That will make us all feel better.
Social distancing, staying home to help the world.
Social
Distancing, keeping safe all the boys and girls.
Why do we have to wash our hands?
Well, it helps to keep the germs away.
Let's wash our hands many times a day.
When you wash the germs to zero,
You'll become a hand washing hero.
social distancing, staying home to help the world.
Social
Distancing, keeping safe all the boys and girls.
Why can't I invite my friend called Marty?
We'll stay at home, have a video party.
So we can see our friends at home.
Sing and dance and have some fun.
We are never on our own.
Social distancing, staying home to help the world. Social distancing, keeping safe all the boys and girls.
The Wiggles, Social Distancing.
What a fun song.
So lovely. Let's get some applause for that. So,
Did you like how I missed my cue every time?
see, I didn't even notice that at all. But that's an interesting point you bring up because as artists, we pick up on these things. I've talked about this on the channel before. There's songs that I've released and I know in a part, I know I'm flat and I sound terrible. And every time if I've been at someone's house and they're listening to that song, I will my brain goes into like, oh, I better cover this up, and that part comes up, and I go, so what did you do on the weekend? And I talk over it like it's, and nobody has ever gone, hey, that bit that you sing there sounds shit. No,
Yeah.
nobody picks that stuff up there. They're
No.
just enjoying themselves because that's what music's
Yeah.
about, you know.
Of course.
Well, not everybody's a critical Nancy, like
Some of them are, but
yeah, but
like Nancy.
they've got YouTube channels. Not everybody's a Rick Beato. Sorry, Rick Beato. That's all he does for a living. He's just pick on
Right.
people. What was I going to ask you? Now you have had dabbled in a bit of YouTube yourself, haven't you?
Sure. That was yes, it was. It is on YouTube, and you can find it if you want to look. But it was just to make ourselves laugh, basically.
Now I'm sure I've got it here. So this is a. Let me find it. I'm sure it was here. So it was a YouTube channel called. Stop here. It was called. It still is a thing. The $2 Looker. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the $2 Looker?
Pete and I had a few drinks one night, which is how most of our stories start. And we decided that we wanted to go onto eBay and find funny things for under $2 and then buy them, have them sent to us, and then review them. So the videos would actually be us looking for these items and then opening them and reviewing them. And what apart from the fact that it was just us sitting there being idiots, the editing of it is quite complicated. And Pete said to me recently, he said he probably wouldn't be able to do the job that he does now in the YouTube channel without this $2 Looker, because it taught him that editing and getting better at editing.
Yep.
So it was just us being silly and enjoying ourselves. We would sit and we'd have a drink and we'd laugh, and then a video would appear. I mean, obviously there was a bit of, other stuff that Pete would do to make the video appear, but for me it was sit down, have a drink, have a laugh, and then yay, video. So that was fun.
Yeah, here we are. So this is a magic balancing bird science desk toy novelty fun children learning gift.
The descriptions would crack us up every time.
Look at that.
Drinking bird.
It's a pyramid with a bird on it.
I think we still have that one, actually.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, well, a bird. Bird is a
Bird on a pyramid.
We're just being silly.
Yeah, no, I love these kind of. I remember when
gonna
Pete
say it.
brought this up, I went and had a look at this and was like, oh my God, why aren't you guys still doing this? There's probably a big niche for this now these days.
Maybe it's actually a lot of work, because, and not only a lot of work, but a lot of time for one video, because you have to do the first bit,
Yep.
stop, wait for the item to arrive, and then do the second bit, and then do all the editing. So it actually wasn't as simple as just sit down and record a video. It would actually take quite a bit of time and effort.
So have you thought of getting? Do you miss the spotlight of not performing in the theatre? Do you have plans to ever do it again? Because your voice is, just gonna say it, it's fucking amazing.
Oh, thank you. I won't say, oh, no, it's not, because those self-deprecating people
It is
piss me
really
off
amazing.
sometimes, even though I am one of those people. Every time I go to the theatre, and in fact, I'm going to take my children to see Les Mis tonight.
Oh wow.
Not sure how excited they are about that. But every time I go to the theatre, I have a little pang of, oh, I really miss being up on stage. I always remember the lights that would reflect off my eyelashes, that sort of prism that they would make on my eyelashes would always make me sort of really aware of the moment, and
Yep.
appreciate being on stage, because those, the bright lights of the theatre. And every now and again, I've seen a few live shows recently, and every now and again I think, oh, gee, it'd be fun to be doing that. In fact, one I went to last weekend, one of the girls was called Georgie, and every time they were like, oh, hi, Georgie, I'm like, oh, hello. But no, I don't think, if I did, it would be a very amateur, production, and I don't have a lot of time to devote to it, and I'd want to devote enough time to it. So maybe one day. Never say never.
maybe one day you would consider, if we're still going with this. See, I do this thing called the opening hour. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's for this
I
guy
have.
called Pete Johns, where he does the happy hour.
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah.
starting to have guests on.
Oh, okay.
So the last weekend of every month. And maybe in the future you might come on and sing some karaoke for us.
Sure. Maybe.
I just put you on the spot like that, just in front of all these people. It's all good.
That's fine.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe.
So do you prefer SingStar these days?
We haven't played SingStar for ages. Ages and ages. Do you know what I play now?
What's
I play
that?
Beat Saber, which is on the VR headset. All my games involve music. It's the girl's got a VR headset, and you have these
Beat Saber.
paddles and Beat Saber, yes. And so it's fully immersive, and these blocks fly at you with different colors and different arrows, and you have to hit them on the right color and the right way in time with in time with the music. And you can buy different packs music. So I mean, they're fairly popular songs. So we've got the Panic at the Disco, the Imagine Dragons, Fall Out Boy, Lady Gaga.
Wow.
There you go. So
There's Billie Eilish as
yes, we
well.
do have Billie Eilish as well.
She's so hard to sing. Good Lord.
Yes. And do you know what? I really like a few of her songs, and
I
some
love
of them
her.
are really like boring. I
Yeah.
found. I'm like, oh, okay, this song's a bit not my bag, but some of them are really great. I did buy one song from BTS, and it's the only one I know, which is that Dynamite one. And that's actually really fun to play. I've got the Green Day one.
Of course you have the Green Day one. That's
yes.
why I clicked on it.
So and it goes, it's gets harder and harder in sort of each level. So I'm at Expert Plus at the moment. I can beat some
Wow.
of the songs on Expert Plus because once the kids are in bed and Pete's doing his work, I'll just be in the lounge room playing Beat Saber.
What level is Pete at?
He doesn't really play it very much, but I think he's on either hard or expert.
Of course.
Yeah.
But
when we used to play Guitar Hero on the PlayStation or whatever, and of course he would crush at Guitar Hero because his fingers, he's got a lot of manual dexterity, which I do not, which is one of the reasons I never learnt to play guitar. In fact, Pete did try to teach me to play guitar, and my nails would get in the way, my fingers wouldn't stretch. But Beat Saber, I think I probably could have been a drummer because I've got that kind of coordination. So maybe I should take up drums.
don't you have a drum kit there?
We actually sold it recently.
Blaspheme. Well,
Yes.
that's all right.
My brother's girlfriend's son started learning drums, so we sold it to him, and he's loving it. So
It's
that's
a
good.
thing that, with drums too. You buy a kid drums and they're either going to love it or they're not. And, but that's all right. That makes me kind of happy. That means Pete's never going to learn how to play drums. So I'll always have a spot to play drums on his music.
You will.
Good stuff. Now I'm happy.
Yay.
Speaking of his music, I'm going to play another song that you were on. And that is, let me go to my playlist here. I'm pretty sure that is College. Yes?
Oh yes, this
It
is. I think if you listen very hard, you can hear me say, "Give me an A."
Is that your whole part, really?
No, there's more, but
Good.
that's the main part.
I'm going to go into it afterwards and we're going to break it down because I've got the
Okay.
GarageBand project,
Oh.
of course.
Of course.
So, folks, kick back and relax. You've probably heard this song before. I've heard it a bunch of times. This is College. I'll just make sure I've got everything happening here. Such a pro I am. Cool. We are all good. Chill out, relax. We'll be back shortly. This is No Such Thing as College. Boom.
I watched a movie back in '85. The kids were driven far away from home, and they were left behind. What is this place? Why is everyone so strange? That crusty dean made them all declare a major. How is this real? Why are all these kids so drunk? Letterman jackets and a homecoming parade just make no sense. Nerds and jocks and freaks and geeks sororities. I think they just made it all up. There's no such thing as college. There's no such thing as college. There's no such thing as frat boys and glee clubs and it girls. There's no such thing as college. The marching band, they were on the field. People watching 17-year-olds play football like they give a damn. The head cheerleader gives an A. The campus radio, we're crossing live to some AV club team. And as I sit, I wonder why they have to lie to me so much. And then I realize it's just a movie. There's no such thing as college. There's no such thing as college. There's no such thing as frat boys and glee clubs and it girls. There's no such thing as college. 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 There's no such thing as college.
I can inform you all that guess what? There is such thing as college because I have been to America and there actually is. I dropped off some flyers and CDs and did a college gig. So Pete's a liar.
Yes. It's such a foreign concept to us to go off to college and live on the college
Yeah.
campus. It's not really the norm in Australia.
It's totally weird. It is.
Yeah.
But then have you been to the States? You would.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I love the States. I would love to live there permanently.
I love it. I love it too. As a kid, I used to be quite obsessed and I wanted to live there as well. And I would like try to remember all the state capitals. So like I'd be looking at a map and going, oh, California, Sacramento, and like, that sort of thing. But now I've not because I don't want to be in America, but I've just come to appreciate Australia more.
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about Australia is when you come back to Australia, it's always amazing.
Yeah.
I like going to. I've traveled lots in my life, and I'm sure you've traveled a bit too. But coming back to Australia, that song, I still call Australia home. I always think of that when I'm landing. It is a bit of a thing, we are pretty lucky here.
We are.
And there's that word again.
Yeah.
Apart from
Well, that is lucky. We were born in this country. We had no control over that.
totally. Yeah, we're not so lucky with electricity at the moment, unless you live in
Not so much.
unless you live in WA, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
So I have the project open here for this song. Let's find where your lyrics are. I haven't opened this. and
Well,
checked.
I actually was listening to it, and I think "Give Me an A" is probably
Is that it? Really?
No, there was more. At the end, there was something.
All right,
What was it?
I'm gonna open these up. I'm just gonna open all the vocals. Let's solo them all. Got them all soloed. Nearly all of them. Wow, there's a lot of vocals.
Oh, I
in
think I
this.
said "Hey" as well.
That could be here. I'm guessing that's going to be here.
Hey,
Give me an A. Well, that's my
the
cue.
campus radio, we're crossing
And we've got one here as well, I think.
Yeah, I
lives.
think that's
It's just a
Hey.
movie.
All
Hey,
right, so we can.
I think that might be it for this one.
All right, so we'll go back and spread these out. We'll get as much mileage as we can out
Oh,
of
jeez.
these.
Give me an A.
There we
Yes,
go.
give me an A.
Give me an A and hey.
Hey.
There we go.
Hey.
But you're definitely in there. So,
Yeah.
look, the reason I'm opening these projects up because I think you two both really sound fantastic together as vocalists.
Thank you.
Is there plans for you guys to record? So I would love to see over Songtember this year. You two work on a song together for Songtember. That would be fantastic.
There's a bit of a catch, and it's only my catch. That when and this is going to make me sound like an absolute lush, but when I'm sober, I'm like, no, I don't want to sing. I sound terrible. And when I'm drunk, I actually sound terrible, but I want to do it. So I've got to find that sweet spot of, a couple of glasses of wine. Speaking of wine, I do have my trademark wine glass here, but
Yes.
unfortunately it does have water in it. Um, so I've got to get that sweet spot of wanting to do it and sounding okay when I do it. So that's my issue at the moment. No, yeah, yes, we probably will do some recording in the future. And I don't love singing live because of what you said before. We're our own worst critic, and every time I'm singing live, I'm like, oh no, I'm flat. Oh no, I'm sharp. Oh no. So at least if I do a recording, I can say no, that one was no good. Scrap it, and Pete will just delete that track or whatever. So yes, recording, yes, live, maybe.
Christopher Rossi asked, does Pete nag you to sing?
Yes. He does. He'll always ask me, and almost every night he'll be like, "Oh, if you ever want to do some recording, let me know." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm tired. I'm going to bed." But
Denied.
it's cold. It's winter in Australia, and
It is cold.
it's bloody cold. And it comes to like 6:30, and it's cold and dark. And I'm like, "Oh, it's dark and cold. Can I just go to bed?" He's like, "It's 6:30, dude." And I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll sit up and have a cup of tea, and then go to bed."
No, I think it'd be really cool. I know, I see it in the chat because I'm there nearly for every show of Pete. I've been there for a long time supporting
You
the
have,
channel.
yeah.
And I know a lot of people like your voice. I love your voice.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
I appreciate it.
so it's
Oh, look, I love singing, and I feel like I sound best and Pete even said it to me the other night. We were just mucking around, and he said that when I'm not giving it everything, like when I'm just kind of being a bit timid, it's, I can tend to be a bit flat or whatever. But when I'm really going for it, it sounds okay. So like that's why I really like the musical theater. And that's one of the Spy from a Distance song that you played before. That was just us going like spy, like just being really crazy with it, which is why it just kind of sounds a bit nuts, but kind of in a fun way. Like, I mean, neither of us are well, technically he's a professional singer because he makes money from his music, but neither of us are, polished singers, but it doesn't really matter. Like I jokingly say, oh no, but I enjoy singing and I don't really care, if it's flat or if it's sharp or if it's bad or if it's good. It's just fun. So yeah, okay, you've convinced me, or I've convinced myself. We'll do some recording.
what is a polished singer these days? It's
Well,
we have
somebody who's auto-tuned, I guess.
Yeah, well, we have so much amazing technology. You can go into a studio. I've been in this situation before where we were in the studio with a band recording over a week and a half, and the last 3 days were like blocked in for vocals, and I got the flu, and I was trashed. And this was back before technology. I mean, we were still on tape back then. But even with tape, the producer was just like, it's all right. Go in there. We'll slow down the tape and just sing it like, all right, sing it like in a really low voice in the same key. And then he sped the tape back
Sped it
up,
up.
and you can't even tell. Like, and that's
amazing.
before iPads and stuff. So,
Yeah.
you can get away with anything. And I guess it's hard too, as you mentioned, always being able to turn on that big performance to be able to record. I know we talk about it on both our channels here. If you're going to sing, you have to sing with that out voice. But we are living tools as vocalists. It's not something you're holding on to. And if you're not feeling well, you can't bring that out. How do you maintain your health as a living vessel for, do you look after yourself for singing, eating wise, all that kind of thing? Do you treat yourself like a living instrument?
Short answer, no, because as we've just discussed, I drink way too much. I go through phases. I go through phases of being super duper healthy, and my weight goes up and down. So sometimes, I'm super healthy. I ride my bike to work. So when I go into the
Really?
office, I don't drive unless it's, a distance that I can't cover on my bike, or if I have, to take the children somewhere. So if I go to work, or the football, in the city, anywhere in the city, I can ride to. If I go to the shops, I'll ride my bike. and we walk a lot of places. We'll take the kids and we'll go for a walk down to, the parade, which is like where the restaurants and cafes and things are, and we'll go and have lunch. I mean, it's not ideal because we'll go down to the parade and then, shove our faces full of food and drink, but at least we walked to get there, and
Of
it's
course.
it's probably a half-hour walk there and a half-hour walk back, and then on the way back, maybe we'll stop at a playground and the kids will have a play and whatever. So we're reasonably not that active, but both my girls do dancing lessons once a week. They're in choir. But at the moment, like I said, it's cold and it's, dark in Australia. So I just, at nighttime, all I want to do is just, make a lovely warm buttery piece of toast and eat that. So it goes through phases of, sometimes it's a salad and sometimes it's a, vegetarian burger.
So recently, Pete got over 100,000 subscribers and got the big plaque.
The play button, yes.
Were you excited about the plaque, or was it more the kids?
Oh, look, no, it's an achievement. I mean, there are not that many people, especially in Australia, that
Yeah.
that have it. In fact, at the time, there's a you'd probably know of him. Jimmy Reese is an Australian comedian. He used to be on the ABC on a kids show called Giggle and Hoot,
Yep.
and he played Jimmy Giggle. And he's recently pivoted and started doing funny YouTube videos. And he, at the same time as Pete, or about the same time, got his silver play button, his 100,000 subscribers. And the girls were like, "Oh, Daddy's got the same thing as Jimmy Giggle." So they were pretty excited about that. And it's not insignificant.
No,
I was,
it's
pretty
massive.
happy about it, but it's not something that Pete's not in it for the accolades. And in
I know
fact, for the
that,
first
yeah.
couple of weeks, the silver play button sat in our daughter's bedroom because she wanted to play with it. It's now up. You can't see it, but it's just behind me.
That's the best.
But yes.
The kids wanted to play with it. Pete's
They
just
wanted
like,
to play with it.
just let it sit for 2 weeks. I don't give a shit, whatever.
Yeah, it
I-
sat on Charlotte's couch for a while. Yeah.
No, I love that about you guys. Because what you see is what you get. You're honest, amazing people. And look, as I said at the beginning, I got to break bread with you, come into your home. I'm ever so
Yes.
grateful for that. Because hey, it's the internet. You don't know who I am. I could be some creepy weirdo. I am, but I just turned it off when I came to your house.
Oh, that was you turning it off?
You wouldn't want to see me turn it on.
Fair enough.
I don't have my budumch thing here, so I can't play that. All right, I have a new question which I've added because we've got 10 minutes to go. And
Okay.
I want to thank you two for coming on here. And we've got a shorter show today. It goes pretty fast, these interviews.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So, because I know Pete's got a show coming up. Pete wrote here, we already know how weird you are. Thanks, Pete. So I've got a new question I've added on here. What is a guilty pleasure that makes you happy? That
The word guilty pleasure. Like, if something makes you happy, why does it have to be guilty?
Well, I look at reality TV like that.
I look at reality TV with derision and scorn because I think that I tell a lie. The reality TV shows that I watch are all the property ones where they, buy an old rundown house and fix it up and sell it, like the flipping shows.
Yep.
But here's the thing. They have to do it all in the same episode. They have to, from the start to finish, buy the house, do all the renovations, fix it up, do the reveal, all in the same thing. And it can't be a competition. So in Australia, we have The Block,
Yeah.
where it goes for months and they buy an apartment building and they compete over who has the best, in inverted commas, master bedroom and who has the best bathroom and who has the best balcony. I don't think renovating should be a competition. I don't think cooking should be a competition. I don't think dancing should be a competition. And I definitely don't think singing should be a competition. So what's the ones? The American Idol and Australian Idol and The Voice and
Who's
all
got
these.
talent and all this
Yeah.
shit.
I don't think, because it's so subjective and every single one of those people that go on there sound great, but then they make them compete against other people. And I think music shouldn't be a competition.
Yeah, look, the biggest problem I have with music competition shows is there's this constant thread of every week, here's a cover for you to play. And then when they judge them and say, but I'm not seeing who you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you're getting me to sing someone else's shit. And then when I finish and win and get all the, hey, I'm the best singer, some other asshole writes the music for me. So why the hell should I show who I am? There's no way for people to show who they are. And then it ends up being a first album that comes out that is written by someone else. So all that emphasis on we're not seeing you, we're still not seeing them after that album. And then by the time they do their first real album, everyone goes, oh, they suck.
Yeah.
And they get cancelled or something, or so yeah. I used to work for reality television on quite a few reality television shows. Like house renovation stuff, Big Brother. I was an accountant for a TV thing, and it's all fake. It's
Really?
Everything you
don't
see on there
say.
is utter bullshit. Everything's scripted. Even I almost got on Big Brother. I was actually in the house waiting to go in, and I ended up pulling out the last minute and got sued, and all this stuff was horrible. Reality TV is a horrible thing, but I still watch it sometimes.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You should embrace
The filth.
pleasure. Yes. There's nothing guilty about it. There's nothing guilty about it. As long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're having fun, then go your hardest, sunshine.
Absolutely. So I've got my last question for you, and then we'll go out and play a song. And this is the question I ask everybody. It's a trick question. It's going to be really hard. It's if somebody was considering becoming creative, when would you suggest they begin?
Now. What sort of question is that? Just start. I don't know. When they decide to be creative, they should try. It's not easy to be. No, it is easy to be creative. It's not easy to be good at being creative. I am the worst drawer in the world. Like, I can't draw, a horse to save myself. And I even remember being in primary school and like trying to draw a horse that looked, more like a cow. But so I don't draw, and I don't really have the need to draw in my life unless, we're having a drawing competition with the children, in which case I have to pull out a picture and trace it. Oh, I tell a lie. I did a couple of years back do a face painting course when my children were younger, because I wanted to be able to paint their faces for birthday parties and things, which that does require a certain level of creativity. And I found that the more I did it, the better I got. Shocking.
What a surprise.
Yeah. So I guess if you want to be creative, start doing it, but then don't. This is my problem. When I was a kid, I mentioned before, if I wasn't instantly good at something, or at least could see that I was going to get good quickly, I gave up very quickly. So I guess it depends on your level of motivation and your level of desire to get to that point of being good, whether or not you stick with it. So I guess I would just say start now and stick with it for as long as you bloody can.
Absolutely, and that's the reason I asked the question. I know what the answer is each time, but forever and a day I will drive it home. Just do it,
Good, I like it.
Because I think it's good to remind people to just do things. Don't let people bring you down, because there's enough of them sitting around waiting in their basement with their fingers ready to type. And I see those comments all the time where I swear there are just some people out there on the internet who will watch a video and just feel the need to just go, you know what? I'm just going to shit all over it. And it just hasn't. And I feel such pity for them. It must be so miserable. And I know I've been like that myself. I have been like that, and it's hard place to crawl out of sometimes. And I think that you have to think about it and not react. I don't react to it anymore, because you start to see, that guy's in a bad place.
Yeah.
So reacting is not the right thing, because it's just going to get them more upset and more angry.
Yeah. I don't react online. I mean, I don't really have any interactions online, but in real life, I go not crazy, but if somebody's trying to intimidate me, I'll either kill them with kindness or just go a little bit bonkers. The other day, somebody said to me, like, they were trying to talk to me. So I just turned to them and said, "Ferris Bueller, you're my hero," and walked away. And they're like,
What?
Yeah. So you just got to you got to find your own. I tell my children if they're being, bullied or whatever, I tell them they should say to that person, "Can you do me a favor? Can you go home and tell your mother she did a terrible job raising you?" And they're like, "I would never say that." And I'm like, "Well, you should."
When I first came out trans, and people can be really cruel out in the public, and
Yeah.
I used to react really violently and go, "I'll punch you in the face," and that was the old me that I was trying to lose. And that's what they want. They want you to show that male thing so they can go, "Ha, see, you're a man." And then I started this new method where I would just stop, pull out my phone, and take a photo of them. And then I
Yeah.
had this page on my website called the Wall of Shame, and I just would put their photo on it, and I end up with like 200 photos of these people on a train just going like, "Why are you taking a photo of me?" Anyway,
Yeah.
we're getting off
Oh,
track. All right.
no, I like that though. That's your way of dealing with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it saved me punching them in the face. It just saved me ending up in jail. So that's a
Yes.
good thing always. All right, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on and share a little bit about who you are with us all, with me and with everybody here.
Yeah.
It's very kind of you.
No, I hope you enjoyed it. When you asked me, I was like, why on earth would anybody care what I've got to say? But everybody's got a story. So, and I love listening to other people's stories, regardless of what they are. So I guess, if there are other people out there like that, then yeah, you have, and maybe you enjoyed or got something out of what I had to say.
Well, I knew you had a story because I've met you, and
Yes, of course.
I think, as I've said it a few times, when you come on the show just brightens up with Pete. You know, it's like a little bit of something new and exciting.
I'm telling you, Jade, it's the boobs. You've got them,
Do you know? See, let's go off track and get a little bit weird. Do you know how many times people have said to me, "Since you grew boobs, do you just sit at home and play with them?" Like, yeah, I've got no time, folks. I just sit around
Yeah.
groping myself.
Just,
Like,
yeah, why not?
yeah. The world is weird. What can I say? So, folks, Pete's got a show coming up in half an hour's time. I do believe he's got Glenn Clark, who's here in the audience. Thank you all for being here today and hanging out with us all. As you do always, thank you for the support. I love you guys so much. On the weekend, we have coming up on the show, which is really exciting, the first of our new opening hour, once a month, special, I guess, crash people coming on. And the first person is, of course, if I can find the image, is Brad Example is on the show. That's a little bit big there for some reason. I don't know why. Can I shrink it? No, I can't. Brad Example is coming on the show this weekend and performing live for us all. So that's super cool. I can't wait for that. So please come and join us for that. Sponsored by DistroKid, of course. Love you, DistroKid. And we are going to go out today with a cover that you and Pete did called Addicted to Bass. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how this came about?
This is a song from, I think it's the early 90s, by an Australian guy, and duet at the time. And it was sort of a bit more electronic rocky feel. And we just decided that we wanted to give it a go as an acoustic bit. And it's so much longer because we slowed it down and kind of spread it out. And I listen to it now, and same as before, I'm like, oh, but it was fun to do. So it sounds all right. Let's listen and find out.
I think it's awesome. I can't wait to play it. Thank you, Georgie, so very much. Hope you have a wonderful day and
Thank you.
and do the things that make you happy as always.
Yay.
Guys, thank you all for being here. This is
Thank you.
Addicted to Bass. Anything you want to say to everybody before we go, or anything? Do you want to have
I
the
just
final
wanna
word?
Yes, I do. I always need to have the final word.
Yes.
I just want to say it's been amazing to see, Pete and your community just come together and be supportive of people. And so please don't ever lose that, because, it's so important, especially now in the world. We just need to lift people up rather than put people down. So thank you to everybody who's ever contributed or said a nice word or liked or subscribed or commented or rung the little bell or whatever you do with the YouTubes. So yes, thank you to everybody, and thank you to you, Jade, and for asking me on today, and for making me feel comfortable and welcome.
The pleasure has been all mine. Thank you. So hang on the line until the show's over so I can say goodbye to you off the air. And
Okay.
folks, See you later. Remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And we all rise together. This is Addicted to Bass. Oh, yeah.
Your baseline has got me feeling fine. It's filling up my mind.
Yeah.
I got two pale hands up against the window pane, shaking with the heat of my need again. Starts in my feet, reverbs up to my brain. There's nothing I can do to revert the gain. I'm looking down to the street below. There's nothing in the way they move to show. They too know what I know. They too hunger for the beast below. Listen to the radio, I feel so out of place. There's a certain something missing that the treble can't erase. I know you can tell just by looking at my face. I'm worried about my weakness, I'm totally addicted to bass. Whoa, whoa,
Boom.
To bass.
whoa, whoa. See, there's nothing I can do to be cool. I don't sleep till I've had my fuel. It frustrates if I'm deprived. A hunger that grates from deep inside. I feel like I'm doing time. Imprisoned by dependence on a rhythm sublime. In my mind I must overcome the need to define solitary silence of a faceless crime. Standing by the stereo, I'm feeling so alone. With my back against the speaker and I'm moving on my own. Surrounded by so many and they're staring at my face. They're picking up my problem, I'm totally addicted to bass. Whoa, whoa.
To bass.
Whoa, whoa. Your baseline is shooting up my spine. Whoa, whoa. Your baseline has got me feeling fine. It's filling up my mind.
You see the summer's at my window and I look down on the street. People I see everywhere are tapping their feet. Suddenly I realize in a look that I was wrong. Everybody's grooving to their own song and going down to the scene below. There's something in the way they move to show. They too, they know what I know. They too hunger for the beast below. Rhythms coming over me to wash away my fears. The backbeat of humanity, it sweetens my tears. There's something that's connected us down throughout the years. There's no need to feel so lonely. Everyone's addicted to bass. Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
to bass. Whoa, whoa.
Boom.
Yeah.
Your baseline is shooting up my spine.
Oh,
Your baseline, your baseline has got me feeling fine. It's filling up my mind.
yeah.
Your baseline is shooting up my spine. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Your
Baseline has got me feeling fine.
It's filling up my mind.
Yeah.
Your baseline is shooting up my spine. Your baseline.
Yeah. Anyway, let's jump in. This is a tune.